welcome back to another wonderful episode of Café Lily, studying your hosts, Kelsey and Rosa. Rosa and Kelsey. Kurun.
We gotta have Kurun.
So Kelsey, what's in store for today's episode of Café Lily?
We're doing another Utena episode.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap.
I mean, it's about time. When's the last time we discussed Utena? Probably when Nova was on, right? What's that? This is weeks ago.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, because we're always talking about Utena. So it feels like we're always talking about it.
Life imitates art. Art imitates life.
Exactly. As it should. So, what do we know, or what can we say about this new... Well, not new. This Utena movie. What is it about?
Let's get right into it.
Alright.
So this is the movie Adolescence of Utena, which was released in 1999, which I think is 2 years after the TV anime. And it's kind of like a retelling of the TV show.
Yeah.
Where they change up some details, they change a couple of characters' backstories to make it fit within a movie.
Well, your mileage may vary with one of them. As I would say now, I do not appreciate Toga doing some revisionist history.
You think he was there in the writer's room, trying to make himself look more flattering?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we'll get into it once we get there. As the movie begins, it begins the way you expect it. Utena first comes to the school. Now, major difference about Utena is that she looks a lot more princely this time around.
Yeah, she has a new design with short hair.
It looks really great.
I think it's a good look on her.
Yeah. And this time around, her friend is not her friend, but someone who becomes a fan of her after meeting her for the first time. And well, Utena really just flirts in. It's like, as long as you're showing me around, I'll be happy too.
She can't help her girl prince instincts.
Yeah, it's right there. She knows. And we can see that Auntie in this movie has a different design too.
Yeah, she looks slightly different. I don't know, probably not as drastically different as Utena. I think she wears her hair out more in this one.
But personality-wise, she's different for sure. But it's still similar in a way.
A lot of characters from the TV show are back and playing very similar roles.
Except for Toga.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with him. He was in the writer's room. That's what was up with him.
Yeah. Like in the original series, he was an example of someone that taking advantage of his own power, his ability, a person who can manipulate others, who uses who exploits them. Oh, for sure, we gotta now state a content warning.
Yes, of course, this is Utena, so content warnings all across the board.
Yeah, all across the board, just like in the original series. It goes over uncomfortable subject matters, such as abuse, so beware.
That's what was interesting about Toga in the TV show. He was someone who used his power to manipulate others, and it felt like he was really in control, but then you find out that he was also being manipulated by someone else, and maybe he wasn't as in control as he thought he was.
Yeah. Even though he had all the cards, he thought he had all the cards. He thought he had that control over Namini and her complex, Sayanji, and his needs to be on top of things, and their strange, their specific tension they have against each other. It's kind of like the reality of it's usually being the one that can be above that is an adult who has even more power than him. I want to say that in the movie for Toga, it kind of paints him in a sympathetic light as being a victim of a system, but for them to also portray him as a positive figure to Utena is kind of baffling, because in the original series, he took advantage of Utena, her inability to remember who was that prince that taught her, that gave her the new motivation in life, and he just exploited that fact. So it's strange here for him to be like a sort of old lover to Utena.
Yeah, they sort of rewrite their history together so that they were childhood friends and they witnessed something traumatic together, and that will either bring them together or drive them apart. But I don't know, I don't think I like that backstory as much as the one from the TV show. Also, Nanami isn't really in this as much.
She's a cow with Choo Choo.
Yeah, she has a cameo in a sort of metaphor scene.
Yeah.
As is the way in Utena. But
yeah,
she doesn't really appear as herself.
Just a weird cow form she took. At least they reference her in like a funny way. It's just kind of a shame she couldn't be in the film, but like, you know, short run time than like a whole TV series, so they gotta make do.
Yeah, that's the thing about trying to condense this into a movie, is that everyone's backstories get really truncated. I think it's the same with Saionji. In the movie, he just kind of is a jerk and then shows up at the end and is like, well, I'm going to escape too. And it's like, no, you didn't really earn that in this version.
Yeah. I feel like in some ways this is like a companion piece to the original series.
Yes, it works a lot better as a companion and not as a standalone movie.
I feel like this is like, with this dreamlike feel, how quickly everything is going, how everything is just so strange, even stranger than it is. It feels like we're within the mind of Auntie.
That's interesting.
I feel like this is paired up with like the way they portrayed her brother here. So her brother's in the movie, but we don't see him much until they start showing a videotape of him doing what he does, while also showing him being fucking extra. That's why I hate about Akio. He does the most funniest extra shit, but it kind of you kind of can't forget the fact that like he's distracting you from the fact that he's like the worst ever.
Yeah, you can't respect him.
Yeah, you can't give him that. You can't respect him, not at all. Well, that one I mentioned is that when we saw what happened and Auntie reveals to him that she was awake the whole time, he just breaks down. He just falls apart instantly. We're so used to seeing him be so confident in his own little world, knowing that everything would go up his way. He's in denial.
Yeah, he is so deeply in denial that when faced with the ramifications of his own actions, it literally kills him.
Yeah, like, literally, like, he falls out a window. Funniest shit ever. Best moment in the movie. He just falls out the window. And that's why I felt like it was part of, like, Auntie's, like, processing everything. It's like, it seems like a way of, like, her empowering herself with how confrontational she was. It's like she'd done it all to force people to actually think about what they're doing. That when she confronted her brother with that, he had to finally think about it. In a way, she was looking back at some memory and was thinking of ways of like she could have taken the control of a situation.
Yeah, there's a recurring motif of videotapes as well. And the sort of the recording of what happened and then playing it back. I said this to you yesterday, but everyone who has ever made fun of Utena fans for talking about symbolism needs to apologize.
Yeah, absolutely. This movie's like Alright, we're gonna do a bunch of symbolic stuff, and you're gonna have to interpret what we mean. We're gonna make it obvious for you.
I don't know how much more obvious they can make it.
Yeah.
What do you mean they're reading too much into it?
No, it's also like, is it time to talk about the car scene?
I think we have to mention Shiori first.
Watch this tape and you will know. I love how she says it in like prose.
Did you watch the English dub or the Japanese?
English.
I love the English dub of Utena.
It's so good.
I love that Lisa Ortiz plays Shiori. I just think she's a really good voice actor. I love when she's in things.
Yeah. She, especially in this movie where the character is so toxic. He's like causing problems.
It's so good.
Oh man. Oh, first we gotta talk about like Utena's first duel. How Auntie helps unlock her potential, her dueling potential.
Yeah, she goes against her role from the beginning, and she jumps away from Saionji, who she is currently, at that time, engaged to, and makes the choice to help Utena.
Yeah. Just goes in, kisses her, it's like, hey, that was funny. Mess with him more. Yeah, that's why it feels like it's like an empowerment movie for Auntie, especially towards the end.
Yeah, so the famous ending sequence of this movie, the characters want to escape, they want to get out of the academy, which is the famous scene where Utena turns into a car.
Yeah, that was wild. Like, I saw like the whole car wash thing, and it's kind of like I got scared. It's like, wait, what are they doing to Utena? What's going on? And then she turns into the car, slowly rusted.
A car won't start without its key.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more obvious the symbolism can get. Utena says, you want to escape. I will turn into a car and help you escape. But then she can't start without her key. And who's holding the key? Anthe.
It's nuts. It's like straight up looking at the account saying, your support system is here. Take the opportunity. She's ready for you. And they go into a wild ass sequence. The girls are like supporting her. It's like, let's see how they're gonna do.
But then Shiori arrives and says, it was a mistake to think that you were the only one who could turn into a car.
Yeah. I remember seeing that before years ago, and now I've seen it again. And I understand the context.
It's such a good scene out of context and in context.
Yeah. She's like really beefing with them. It's like, I'll escape to reality. And then it's like, how? How? You're like toxic and haven't learned your lesson. You need some time. And then she just crashes and explodes.
She crashes and explodes, and then Anthe and Utena keep driving. And all the rest of the duelists come up and they're like, yeah, we're gonna help you. We believe in you so much, and once you escape, we'll be there after you.
Yeah, which is like what happens in the series too. And then they start reaching towards the end.
Yeah, they get to the end, and who's there but Akio?
Telling her, like, you can't escape me.
He's trying to crush the car in, like, a big gear. Utena was probably on death's door.
Yeah, oh my god. I thought she was gonna turn into a motorcycle. Like, it's such a strange sequence.
But I'm glad that Anthe was able to overcome it.
Yeah, her and Utena together. Escaping her brother.
Yeah, it's a very different ending to the TV show, where I thought that was a very beautiful ending, where Utena did not help Anthe escape, but Anthe, seeing that someone was willing to help her, sort of understood that there was good out there, and that gave her the courage she needed to escape on her own. And I thought that was a very beautiful ending to the TV show. Yeah. But in this one, they escape together by helping each other, and that's also beautiful.
Yeah, like I said, if we're like going by this as like, it's like Anthe's thought process before she left in the original series, is that we mainly see her and Utena is the vehicle with how focused it is. it could be, we could say it's the lingering influence of Utena being the vehicle for her to leave.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it.
And then they leave off in like a car, which is into what looks like a wasteland. It looks scary, but they're prepared to take it on together. A beautiful end to the series.
Yeah, very nice. We should read the manga at some point and do the third Utena episode.
Of course. Ain't Café Lily without the Yuri piece of media.
Most iconic Yuri, debatably. Before we finish Utena talk, I do want to mention I love the animation in this series, both in the movie and in the show, but I definitely noticed it a lot in the movie. I mean this as lovingly as possible, but they will frequently and creatively cut corners. Like, they will have a lot of scenes where characters are talking to each other and they're facing away from the camera, or they're in silhouette, so they don't have to animate complicated discussions. And they do a lot of animation that's just moving 2D parts around a scene.
I noticed they were layering a lot on like certain bits. Like when you're on that motorcycle, you could tell like they're using the same loop of their hair flowing in the wind.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, but it always looks great and it always suits the scene. And I love that. I love the way that they will creatively cut corners in order to have these amazing scenes with very intricate and detailed animation, like the scene with the butterfly wings. That was an amazing animation with the bed sheets turning into butterfly wings. I was blown away by that.
Yeah, it was so surreal. They blew their budget on that. Okay, part of their budget on that. For sure, the driving sequence.
Oh yes, of course, and the car transformation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that people should watch Utena if they're interested in animation at least, because it's some amazing work. It's some very creative work.
Yeah, just be aware of the content warning.
Yes, of course.
So, Kelsey, you wanted to talk about paper cuts.
Yes. The reason we didn't have an episode last week was I went to an event called Paper Cuts, which is a comic arts festival held at the Adelaide Town Hall this year. And I had a great time. I got to see my friends, I got to talk to some comic artists, and I also bought some Yuri comics there, so I thought I'd discuss those.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I bought 3 Yuri comics there. I don't know if that's all that was at the show, but the 3 I got were, first of all, a zine called Cute by the artist Vreemdear, which is a short comic about a librarian and a customer of the library, and the customer keeps borrowing books that have flirty titles.
Oh, I like the sound of this.
It's a very short comic. It's only like a handful of pages, but as the title implies, it's very cute, and I just thought it was sweet. So definitely check out Vreemdear. The second comic that I got was The Witch and the Knight by an artist called Inverseaxolotl.
Oh, worm?
Yeah, right? That title grabbed me.
Of course it did.
But it's a short story about a witch and a knight who are friends, and they're sort of telling stories to each other, and they want to come up with a story where a witch and a knight can live peacefully and happily ever after together. It's a short story which I thought was very cute, but when I went to look up the artist, I found out that this is, I'm not completely clear on the details, but this is either a segment or a side story from their webcomic, which is called Adelaide and the Shooting Star.
Ooh, fitting.
And The description is that it is about a witch who falls in love with a witch hunting knight, and they try to manage that. And I think that sounds very interesting. I haven't read it yet, but that is on my to-read list, and I'll give an update on that. And then the final comic that I got was Patience and Esther by S.W. Searle, which is an Edwardian romance story about two maids who are working at the same estate who fall in love with each other. This one is 18 plus. They actually had a sign up at the table threatening to card people who tried to buy it. So be aware of that if you're interested in it. But this was my favorite of the bunch. I thought it was a lovely story. Unlike the other two, which are zines, it's a full graphic novel.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But yeah, it was lovely. I just thought it was very sweet. I adored it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I can't wait to hear you talk about it. Or the secret menu.
Yes, secret menu. If you missed that, we started a side series on the Patreon where we talk about things that aren't on the main show.
Yeah.
So go subscribe to the Startcast Patreon.
Do it now. But
yeah, I had a great time at Paper Cuts. Those are the 3 Yuri comics that I found there. And yeah, I encourage any Yuri fans to go to local events or local conventions and see if any of the artists there are selling original Yuri comics. That's a great way to find new Yuri to read.
Was it also near around the place you fought the balls?
Yes, same city as where I fought the balls.
Ah, I knew it. Now, are you ready to do the announcement?
Yes, we have a special announcement. Rosa, do you want to share the news?
Now, we fooled you all. We made this cafe in order to get you all to learn about our Yuri Circle. That's right, we're starting a Yuri Circle. It's called Petal and Leaf.
The idea for starting a Yuri Circle actually predates Café Lily, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, we always wanted to do this.
Yeah, we talked about like getting together in a group and making like Yuri, like the greats before us, like Clamps, you know, the one that did like Cardcaptor Sakura and whatever. They weren't specifically Yuri, but you know, just a circle creating original or fan works, specifically Yuri.
Yeah, we love to collaborate, and we've always wanted to make Yuri comics, and we thought that this would be a good way to do it and to get other artists and our friends involved. So we're going to be launching a Yuri Circle. Do you want to explain what the first comic is going to be?
That's right. So, out of the sadness of the potential reveal of Saki marrying a man in Otona Precure, I decided to make a little doujin comic called My Summer with Saki. It is the journal entries and recountance of Mai spending her summer with Saki. By the time that comes up, the comic should be published in time for the Otona Precure premiere.
Yes, it's a very cute comic. I've loved seeing Rose's work on it, and I hope everyone gives it a read.
And I look forward to sharing with everyone. Give it a look. Give it a read. Tell me your thoughts. Look forward to it. Look forward to future works. Already have some stuff planned out.
Yeah, we've got some original Yuri planned, and probably some more Precure fan comics, because
of course
everyone currently in the circle is a Precure fan.
Of course, we specifically have like a chat just for Precure posting.
Yes, we have the Precure quarantine zone.
But yeah, look forward to it.
Yes, and we will keep giving updates on Café Lily whenever we make something new.
Yep.
I just realized Otona Precure is going to air while I'm away, so we won't be able to talk about it for a couple of weeks still.
Yeah, but we will at least have like a few episodes in to talk about.
Yes, that's true. Hopefully the mystery of Saki's partner has been solved by then.
Yeah. Maybe in the best way possible, maybe in the okayest way possible. When the saddest way possible comes out, we'll probably immediately just do an episode.
Yeah, I'll call in from where I have no internet and do an emergency episode through the power of Yuri tragedy.
Yeah. Alright. So I'm glad you all have come by again. Thank you so much for listening. We hope to see you again next time on another episode of Café Lily.
See you next Yuri.
Have a good day.